Hello everyone, it is me, upside down on the elephant tree. I'm Joe Neely, this is the Golden Hour, and I've had a good day. I'm trying a new plan of letting go of commitments and doing what I want to do in the moment. I find myself wanting to record anyway, I find myself wanting to exercise anyway. Even little habits like sharpening my knife. I used to have a very rigid habit for doing that every time I ate, and now I'm doing it when I want to. The trick is to trust myself. I want to do these things. I don't have to force myself to do the things I want. I can force myself to do them at a certain time, but that turns the things that I would otherwise want to do into things that I have to do. Brr. Not so good. I can hear an armadillo coming. I have two armadillos. As I said on Facebook, all armadillos are named Barnaby, just as all squirrels are named Turkis. I got some wonderful responses from Facebook buddies. Wow. I have to interrupt myself because they're getting more comfortable with me and they're getting closer and closer. This one's 10 feet away. And it's really nice to have roommates in the woods. But like I said, I got some wonderful responses from people on Facebook about their names for animals. So, you know, it's fun to have wild animals around. It's not the same as a domesticated pet, which I may acquire at some point if I find a cat that wants to come with me on the road. I think a cat is right for me. I'm a cat person. I could travel more easily with a small dog, but I really think a cat is the way to go. But we'll see. This is one of those days where I got up, I spent all day working and playing and having a wonderful time, doing all different activities, taking time to do things that I hadn't done in a while, sorting out my possessions in my bags and repacking everything and doing repairs on the bags, getting my food together. I bought way too much food yesterday and I'm trying to find places to keep it all. But you know, it's lovely to have gotten myself into this lifestyle far enough that it really feels good. It really feels right. It's been, what, 4 months? Let me see, September, October, November, December, and we're halfway through January. So yeah, 4.5 months. Wow. And it feels normal, it feels good, it feels right to be out here, and it feels like nothing's a problem. Like I can handle everything that comes up. I've handled a bunch of things already. I've gotten the gear and the skills that I need to handle just about everything. And now I can really relax. It gives me more energy to work, which I am doing, and as you know, I'm trying to manifest twice the income before taxes that I spend on necessary things. Of course, the other money, you know, some of it will go for taxes, some of it will be invested, and some of it will be spent on long-term gear projects and all that kind of stuff. I'm eager to continue to upgrade my bicycle and my bags, which are my life, which is everything I own. And I want to keep everything in tip-top shape and keep making it nicer. So, this is kind of a logistical type chat we're having. And that armadillo is still just 10 feet away. It's really amazing. That's so cool. Anyway, as I've said before in the last few days, I really encourage you to keep at the thing you're doing, to keep at it no matter what. Burn the boats, as they say. The idea is that if an army lands on the shore of a island they want to take over or whatever, they would burn the boats so that the army could not retreat. I did that. I did that logistically, both by quitting my old job and by selling all my old music equipment and everything, selling and giving away everything that didn't fit on my bike and going on this journey. And it was so refreshing to go all in. It's so refreshing to have everything I own within eyesight, you know? When I'm on my bike and I get everything packed up, I get everything I own just right there with me, soaring down the highway. And that's a really good feeling, which I want to maintain for a while. It's a little more difficult. You can't put stuff into storage if you're not sure you want to keep it or not. You have to make decisions about stuff. But I don't think that would be right. I could store stuff with family or just in a storage unit, but don't really need or want stuff. If I don't use it every day, if it doesn't keep me traveling, why do I want it? So you'll all make your own choices. Use my adventures as metaphors, stories, ways for you to learn. You don't have to copy me. You don't have to do what I'm doing. You can. I'll tell you how, but you don't have to. The idea is to go all in on whatever it is that you really care about. I decided that I cared more about travel than music, that I cared more about having nice weather so I could be outside all the time than just about anything else. Some of that, of course, was music related. I wanted good weather so I could go out and play accordion on the sidewalk, so I could be a busker, as they say. And I may add some of that into my lifestyle at some point. Like I said, I'm adding some gear and some logistics into this right now. Want to take care of some more long-term security things like investing and health insurance and dental and all that kind of stuff. And it's nice to be in this place. It's nice to have spent, gosh, over 4.5 months doing this trip. Over a year and a half since I first left Michigan. And you know, maybe 4 or 5 years since I started transitioning out of my old job. So it's really nice to have done this and for it to be working. I know I'm repeating some stuff I've said in other videos, but it really is true. It's really what's in my heart right now, is that it's working. I decided not to go to the Keys. I decided pushing myself to go all the way down there and all the way back just wouldn't be worth it. That it's much better to relax, give myself some time to stay put for a while. You know, I'm at the southern swing of my journey before I turn around and head north. I have a really good feeling that I don't need to head any further south for weather's sake. I could, for adventure's sake, head another 350, 400 miles down to Key West, which I might do at some point. Might do in future years. Might not. The point is, I don't need any more adventures than what I have right now. I live in the woods. I work online. I make all the money I need to survive and double it in just a few hours each day. I have lots of time to think, to go about the simple tasks of eating and sleeping and taking care of myself and playing and having a nice time. So, like I said, I think it takes more courage to do what's right for yourself than to push yourself on some crazy journey. And I've pushed myself on some crazy journeys. And I will again. But I feel like what's most important is taking care of myself and feeling good every day. That's what really matters. And for this trip, I feel like, you know, Port Charlotte, where I am right now, is about as far south as I'm going to go. I can save the Keys for another trip. I had dreams of going all the way down there and then going all the way up to Montreal. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do it next year. Maybe I'll have more energy. I'll be more established at work and making more money in less time, and I'll be rocking and rolling, and I'll have a lot of experience. I won't burn so much energy looking for campsites or figuring out how to manage everything from rainstorms to bugs to whatever. So who knows? That stuff can be in the future. Can be. You know, doesn't have to be. An exercise for you that I can give you for this, and let me get down out of the tree because my back is hurting, it regards decisions. When you are in your head and you feel yourself, woo, getting out of the tree, there we go.
when you feel yourself getting ready to make a decision, recognize that you're doing it. I think the most important thing is awareness, and I say that often. I think you can see my face best if I face towards the light, what little of it there is left. But what I'm saying is this. Every little task in my minimalist life can be conscious. I can look at something and say, oh, that makes me think of a task I could do. You know, I look at my toothbrush, I say, oh, I could brush my teeth. I look at this or that object and I say, oh, I could use it, I could interact with it. I may have an idea in my head, whether for a creative project or a spiritual thing I want to tell you guys or whatever. And instead of feeling like, oh, I have to do it, I need to do it, I can just say, oh, that's something I might do. Oh my gosh, the armadillo is even closer. This whole time we've been talking, he's been edging closer. He's, I don't know, about 8 feet away. Really exciting stuff. But the point is, I want you guys to be aware of when you make a decision. To say, oh, I can do this or I can do that. Or, this is a decision I'm going to make later. If you don't need to make the decision right now, don't make it. Put it off till later. There will be a time when you do need to make that decision to where you can't move ahead with your day until that decision is made. And then you make a decision. But don't make decisions before their time. I think that's a big part of what they call being in your head, is trying to decide things before you need to. And it feels really good, you know. I have ideas, I have possibilities, I look at the world and say, oh, I could do this or this or this. And I don't have to do them all, I don't have to do any of them. I just tell myself, oh, there's something I might do. And maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. And I trust myself that if I don't do it, I'll remember to do it later. I don't have to write it down. I don't have to try to keep track of it. I don't have to stress. Just knowing and trusting in myself that if I do what I want to do in every moment of every day, I will have a wonderful, happy life and succeed at all the things that are in my heart. I don't have to make plans, you know? So, if you're like me, getting in your head, figuring things out, planning is a hard thing to give up. And I'm not saying you need to give it up entirely. Just be aware of when you're making a decision. See if this is a decision that really has to be made now. Tell yourself, oh, this is something I might do later. I might decide to do it, I might not. It's pretty rare you have to do an either-or kind of decision. Like, oh, I've either got to do this now or at this other time I got to pick which is better. I mean, that's pretty rare. I had one yesterday, haven't had one today. And if you have an either-or, you really just got to sit with it. Sometimes I'll say out loud either thing that I'm trying to choose between, or even weigh them imaginarily in my hands, you know? Well, you can't see, it's too dark, but weighing them in my hands, weighing the energy, saying each thing that I might do. You know, maybe about 4 or 5 times we're like, oh, I'm going to go into town now, I'm going to go into town now, I'm going to go into town now, I'm going to town now. Or, I'm going into town later, I'm going into town later. And say those things and see which one feels right. You know, I did this yesterday and I was able to feel when it was the right time to go into town and the right way to do it. I was balancing a lot of logistics, a lot of risks, and some new things I hadn't done before. I won't go into all of that, but the point is, you're balancing a lot of different aspects when you make a decision. There's a lot of pros and cons, and you can write them down and figure them out. But I think just feeling inside of you which one feels right to do when you say it out loud, you know, 3 to 5 times, that's a pretty good way to handle these things. Because the trick is to do what feels good in the moment. If you have to make a decision, you know, that'll commit you to a certain amount of time. You can't be free and easy all the time, but very, very much of it. So that's my advice, is choose in that moment that you do need to choose, which you've put off until you actually have to choose. Don't do it ahead of time because things may change anyway and you're just burning energy trying to figure stuff out without all the information. You got to get to that moment of choice when you do have all the information you're going to get, because it's time and you need to make a choice, and then you do the one that feels better, and then you go with it. You forget about the choice, you don't second guess yourself, and you just move on. Some of this may sound like common sense to you, but it's very deep to me. I'm one of those people who was born without much common sense. I define common sense as the stuff we pick up from other people, the stuff we learn from other people. Without questioning it, we just take it into ourselves as true. And luckily, I don't have very much of that. I get to figure out my own life the way I want it and not just copy other people's behaviors and please other people and just, go with the flow, We don't grow much as people or as a society that way, and I'm very glad to be one of the unique ones. So, it's dark, 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 and I've said my piece. Please check me out at joeneely.net/golden hour. I also hope you will comment on these videos, help me create a community of interested folks, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. I love you all, and have a great night. Bye-bye.